Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Roundtable. You know, every month I watch it, and I hate when I do that, but I can't help it. I do it every month. I was thinking I was going to start like this. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Roundtable. Because every month I'm like, what's up? But anyway, I'm always excited. I'm always excited because this is so much fun, and it's so awesome to see you guys. You know, the part that you guys missed in the recorded section is beforehand us saying hi to everybody. It's just a cool thing. But anyway, great show today. Two awesome presenters. Our first presenter today, this guy, he's like a legit true friend of mine. We talk all the time. Andy Seatherton, great guy. You guys may remember he was one of the original presenters on the Roundtable, you know, because when we first started doing this thing, we're like, we need to get some good people and nobody knows about this. Let's get Andy. He'll say yes to us. So Andy's back for the second one. And then our second presenter today, or, you know, presenters, are the Epperson brothers. Chuck and Bruce Epperson are here today. These guys, you know, in the Kenpo world, you get these people that you've known their names forever, but you don't get to meet them. And then we finally met back in September at the Hug Seminar. And man, did we hit it off. So it's so awesome to have Chuck and Bruce Epperson with us as well today. Now, the technique today is leaping crane. Leaping crane is the technique. Did I miss anything? Oh, I did want to say, all of a sudden I have notes. My notes grow more and more every month because I always forget stuff. I think 2 months ago, I forgot to announce the presenters. I realized afterwards I'd never announced the presenters. So, or I might not have announced the technique. Anyway, we are missing Lorenzo today because Lorenzo's on his honeymoon. He's on his honeymoon. So congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Jimenez. And I hope you're enjoying your honeymoon. And then no Saul today. Brian Saul is out because it is Hanukkah. And he and the Saul family are celebrating Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah to those of you who celebrate, to the Saul family and to everyone else. Shabbat Shalom. All right, let's get to it. Leaping crane is the technique, and I'm kicking it off. Right? We all know leaping crane. All right, so leaping crane is just bop, boom, pop, pow. Now, I actually demonstrated it different than how I want to talk about it today. All right, the thing you want to understand, at least the thing that I like to teach my students, we were just doing this in class the other day, for leaping crane is the shoulder movement. Okay, the shoulder movement. Okay, this first move here, a lot of people like to do it like this, you know. And now the problem with that is if you look at what's this one called, blinding sacrifice, right? In long form 3, what's blinding sacrifice? Blinding sacrifice is an example of all sorts of things that are done wrong. Okay, like for instance, this move here, boom. Okay, you can't do 2 strikes coming in together like this, especially if you have a torso like myself, because it's just going to negate the power. So my thought process is if you're doing this in leaping crane, this is not my thought process, I was taught this too, but if you're doing leaping crane and you just go like this, you're not necessarily going to get as much power as you want, okay? So what you want to do is you want to off angle just slightly, and like I said, you have this shoulder movement here. Now, what I was doing with my students the other day is I was just having them practice this motion just like this. Just turning your shoulders and letting your hands swing. And if you turn your shoulders and you let your hands swing, well, this can easily turn into a parry. And now what I'm doing is I'm pulling my back shoulder forward just slightly. I'm talking like quarter beat timing, just slightly before I pull that middle knuckle fist in, all right? You see a lot of people when they practice their Kenpo, they like to do a technique, and what they do is they go, all right, the guy throws the punch, and then you block, and then they bang out this awesome Kenpo technique. But in reality, they probably would have gotten punched in the face because they were so busy getting to the cool part, they forgot the important part, which is the block, okay? So I'm turning off angle as I step, just slightly, okay? And what's going to happen when you time it is you're just going to wham right into here. So it's just a subtle whoop before you drop that in. I almost fell out the floor. Look at that. Okay. So it's just a subtle here before you wham and you pull that across. And that lag that your hand has from the back shoulder pulling will spring it into action with that middle knuckle fist. Okay. So it's here and here. It's not as distinct as, say, protecting fans or what's the other one, evading storm, right? It's not as distinct as that with the turn 1 and 2, but it is just a quarter beat, just a little, handle that punch, you know, and then cut that in there. And then from there, you have the rest of the technique. Boom, back knuckle, elbow. Now the extension, the one thing that I like to talk about this here is that this elbow here, usually when we do our neck breaks, we're usually pulling it this way, right? Pulling it this way, or we're pulling it up top, but we're not usually pulling it underneath. We have it up top here. Here we have it underneath. And what I like to picture is a cylinder. So I'm here, I pull, and then I come around and chop. So I hit, boom, whack, pow, and then you can do the rest of these, whatever. But, so the things I want to talk about here is number one, instead of doing this, which you may not have a lot of power, like I said, especially if you're built like me, right? Boom, but you get that turn, gets you off the line of the punch, get this turn in here, get that parry going, and then fire. That's it. So you just boom, and then hit pop, and then it'll come around and finish the technique. Well, that's all I had to say about that. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Moving right along, we're going to send it out to Bradford, PA, to, hold on, wait. I got to do it. Ready? Michael Miller! Oh, wait, I did it wrong. Oh, see, I wrecked the transition. Edit that.
No, you're good. Rock on, brother. All right. So, leaping crane. This is a fun technique. I like this technique. But anyway, okay, I will say this. I don't like the middle knuckle on this plane because you don't have any backup mass behind it. I've talked about that before. You could hurt your finger. I'm not a big fan of that. So if I were to hit to the ribs in this technique, which I don't, I will explain this in a second, I would do just a hook punch right into the ribs. I don't do that. I do a punch into their arm. So, they're doing that step through punch. I go right into the bicep like this, and at the last second, turn it to try to get the tricep. So it would be like this right through. Not going to do a whole lot, but that's just the way I like to do this. So when I do this, leaping off, you can do a parry, as you guys know, or you can do a check. Okay. From my boxing background, I kind of like the checks. So what I'm going to do is a check as we leap off and right into this position here. And then when you fire that kick, of course, we know this, you fire the kick, you land with a back knuckle. Now, what's important is that you face your work. All right. Because there's a lot of people they do the kick and they tend to land over here and they're back knuckling over here. Make sure you face your work. I know it's hard. It's kind of hard to see when I don't have a partner, but I think you get the idea. So we come up, we fire the kick, we land with the back knuckle facing the work. I like to do back knuckle, forward with a palm, and then elbow. Now I'm not going to do the extension because I have enough to talk about, so I'm not going to get into that. But one thing I want to say about the back knuckle is make sure that you hit it and you get the depth. Okay, another common error is people kind of go through. They kind of slice it like this because they're too busy trying to get the next move in. Make sure you hit flush right here, then go. Okay. So what we're doing is we're coming off, we're throwing that kick, hitting here, just like this. Not like this, like we do in hugging pendulum. Hugging pendulum, we do that. But in here, we hit, okay? And then boom, boom. All right, pretty simple, pretty easy. Now, one thing I like about Kenpo is there's a lot of 3 counts. And you might double them up, or you might do a 3 count and then a 2 count. Like, for instance, 5 swords. We get to here and we go 1, 2, 3, and then we do another 2 count, and then you get to the extension. But there's a lot of 3 counts, and as a former boxer, it's like the jab cross hook. We have that 3 count of boom, 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 and we have that a lot. Look at Parting Wings. 1, 2, 3. You look at Calming the Storm, 1, 2, 3. You look at Thundering Hammers, 1, 2, 3. Without the extension, of course, all over the place. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's a good timing thing. That's why I like leaping crane, because when you come in, after you do the kick, it's 1, 2, 3. Okay? So I really enjoy that part. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Oh, we were talking about hugging pendulum. Now, I mean, obviously we only have 5 minutes, but I can't, write a book here. But anyway, hugging pendulum is basically the same technique off of a kick, off of the leg instead of the arm. So I'm here, I'm coming down, I'm crossing over, and I'm firing that kick, and then I'm doing back knuckle, palm, let me move over here, and elbow, but all with the same hand. Instead of back knuckle, palm, elbow this way, it's this way, okay? And obviously we know, gathering clouds, okay? Same, where it's all in the middle, it's all the same, okay? So they all relate. And as you guys know in Kenpo, many techniques relate. But the last thing I want to say, I forgot to mention, is that kick. You'll notice that a lot of people, when they do this kick, they tend to just kind of, snap it and just kind of, hey, check this out. What you want to do, you're trying to get them down on their knee. Okay, so if you just kick like that, they're just going to go like that. So you want to make sure that you put your weight into it and you're kicking more on a downward diagonal, all right, so that you're forcing them downward, okay? So anyway, I think that's all I really wanted to say at the moment. So back to you, Dan. Let's rock.
I'm coming. Give me 1 sec here. Oh, I know what my problem is. I didn't turn my camera on. A little slow moving today. Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. Tell you what, that was some good looking Kenpo, but that was also a good looking new belt you're wearing, my friend. Very sharp, very sharp. All right, moving right along. We're going to send it out to the undisclosed location somewhere in Los Angeles, California. Most likely with AJ is Angelo.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to LA in the undisclosed location. All right, so today we're talking about leaping crane. There's a couple things about this technique that I love. It's a fun technique. The first thing I want to address is arm length, because as the punch comes in, as you can see, he's hitting me and I can't reach him. Okay, so what I've got to do, if I did it at the same time and leaped, this is going to miss. I have no penetration power again. So if you're shorter and have shorter arms, you're going to have to anticipate, meaning that this arm is going to have to shoot first, and then you're going to go ahead and take it. I like to go in with a direct shot, but this has to anticipate it first. So as I jump, I'm going to go 1 and hit at the same time. I'm going to go 1, 2, and then now I have that penetration power and that depth that I need to get in there. So when I'm doing the technique, I'm going to go boom, and I'm going to hit. If I'm going to rake or if I'm going to go direct with a target, I'll come this way and just shoot this target in here. So that's an important factor. So remember, if the guy's got long arms, you can't do it at the same time, because this will actually be effortless and it won't do anything. It'll load you up for your next shot, but you won't have that first shot in there. The next thing I want to address in this particular technique is the kick. Michael started to talk about it. So when you come in and the kick comes in and you shoot, and let's say you're doing that thrusting kick. Sometimes this is what I observe. He goes down, my leg gets caught in this, I trip, and I've got to reformulate to finish the technique. So when you drive that in there and you pull it out, sometimes the timing's just not there. So those of you that have been fortunate enough to train with Master Michael Pick, he taught me a kick for this technique that I loved, and I've been doing it ever since. Now, the dynamics of this is you're going to do whatever you're going to do here. But what I'm going to do is the hamstrings are right here. If you hit the hamstring, just like the bicep muscle, it'll cause the arm to bend. If I hit him here, it's going to cause the knee to automatically bend. And that's our goal, to get him on there. So what I'm going to do, rather than doing a thrusting side kick, I am going to do like an outward kick this way and kicking that hamstring out. Immediately upon impact, I'm going to switch to a rotation into a stance, which is going to automatically cause him to kneel, and it's automatically going to put my foot in perfect position for that second shot. Let's watch that. When he comes in, I'm going to go 1, 2, and as he drops, there's my shot for the technique, and I can finish the technique. Again, one more time. He comes in, I step out. I'm moving. I'm going to thrust here, thrust and drop. Look at his rotation. It's natural. The knee bends, and I land fully grounded. From here, boom. Going on to the next shot. If you hit him with a fist, sometimes the anatomical reaction is going to be more of a crowd. If you've ever been slapped in the back with an open hand, that's the automatic response. Okay, it's an anatomical arm going back and causes the head to go back. So when you slap someone in the back, that head's going to pop right into your elbow. So we use a flapping elbow technique into this. Okay, now reaching in front, reaching through the back, I've learned it both ways. However, for me, if he's looking this way, I can't reach. So I prefer to go where I know his chin is every time. From here, we have the regular technique. We have a really quick timeout for a train. Hold on. All right, no horn, we're good. So, the parts I want to emphasize on this technique are, one, do that kick drop. You want to open hand, shoot, catch that elbow. From here, grab the chin and shoot it. From here, I don't like to do the ending. I just like to hold and with my knee, do a knee pop, and that guy sails forward, and then you can do whatever you want with it, okay? So that's my take on leaping crane. But for purposes, I've been hurt lately. I have a cane, so I'm going to show you leaping cane, okay? Leaping cane. So as I'm walking with my hurt knee, the punch comes in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to parry. I'm going to whack him on the shin, taking the back of the knee out. From there, I switch, I grab that leg, and I pull him back into this position, stomp the ankle. From here, I'm going to come, hit him on the top of the head, hook the throat, and then just crank down and break the neck, okay? That is my version of leaping cane, okay? AJ, you have anything to add to that?
Good stuff.
Good stuff. So we had a little bit of fun today. We'll see you guys later. Back to you, Dan Mack, and back to everybody.
All right, hold on. Ready?
You gonna try it?
Bam, bam. Wait, I missed.
Hook the leg, pull it out.
Bam, stomp, hook, grab, pull.
Reach over, grab the neck, and just pump it, and you're gonna break the neck. It's a nice technique.
Pump it. Louder. All right, excellent. I just happen to have a cane. You know, we martial artists happen to have a cane with like a sharp point on the end. Right? And then the grip here. Well, thank you very much, Angelo and AJ. Thank you very much, Angelo and AJ, as I put that away. All right, moving right along. We're going to send it down to Maryland Sabora.
Hey, everybody. Whoop, let me adjust this real quick. All right, so leaping crane. What do I think about leaping crane? I think it's a good technique. The main thing that we want to focus on here or learning here is to get out of the way quickly. Maybe there's a wall behind us. We can't step back. It forces us to leap forward. All right, so you start learning this in Orange Belt with Gift of Destruction, which is having that hop knee, okay? But in leaping crane, instead of using the knee, we use the middle knuckle strike. Most of the instructors already cover some of the more important points, so I'll cover some of the stuff that I think that's important in this technique. Here in the East Coast, when it gets cold like this, everybody got at least a hoodie, and hoodies are pretty thick. Or maybe when it gets colder, they wear parkas and leather jackets and stuff like that. So these middle knuckle strike to the ribs, probably not going to be as conducive, okay? So to do a raking strike, especially for, you know, hands this side, it's not going to work really well. And I have tried it. But so what I would do is to go straight in, very similar to attacking mace, okay? So my entry would be like attacking mace. I shoot that straight in and then add my hop, okay? So to load up your kick right here, you got to get your knee up a little bit higher. And that side kick, just like all the other instructors were saying, make sure you thrust downward. Okay, so what I do is I thrust downward almost like a stomp as I plant. Okay, as I plant, then the back knuckle go to the general area, kidney maybe, but up a little higher like what Angelo was saying. to open them up, because when you hit back here up above the kidney, I believe that's the lung area. You knock the wind out of them when you do that, and they tend to open up like that, which now make the next target available for you, which is the base of the skull or the side of the head, depending on how they are turning, okay? So the main thing of this technique is how to get out of the way quickly using the hopping motion, okay? Similar to gift of destruction. The relationship, you can relate this to targeting part of it would be like, say, flashing wings, okay? So flashing wings, we're using the elbow, same entry, but instead of this, we're using our short weapon, which is the elbow, to the general area, which is the floating ribs area, and come back this way. That outward elbow is probably going to hit at the high point right here, where the lungs would be at, and obviously you come up with the finishing move. So flashing wings, moves, you end this way. If I do this, that is very similar to Thundering Hammer's last move before the extension. Also, you have Gathering Clouds, where you're this way, which is the same as Circling Destruction. You end up this way. So what's that teaching you is different variation of how to deal with the head, okay? So the important lesson here also in Leaping Crane introduces the first move of the extension is the grabbing of the chin and cranking and breaking his neck, okay? In the Israeli system, which is another system that I train in, they call that slacking out, okay? So again, targeting, that's important in Leaping Crane, would be the ribs, lungs, and control the head. Remember, when you control the head, you control the body. So what else do I want to add to that? Sidekick, when you do the sidekick, chamber your knee up high, use it more like a stomping fashion, let him fall, then plant so that your foot don't get pinned between his thigh and his calf, like Angelo was saying. So in Thundering Hammer, we did a heel palm this way. Flashing Wings, we have a heel palm this way. Again, we're dealing with the chin, controlling his head. So if he's in Leaping Crane, we come down very similar to, or exactly like Gathering Clouds ending part there, and also Circling Destruction. Okay, so you are containing his head and cranking the neck, excepting for Leaping Crane, you're going over top, okay? So this is pushing down on the shoulder, and then you rip, and then you come down and do the rest of the stuff. So that's, you know, again, just showing you different ways how to contain and control the head. In one of the other technique, like shield and mace, for example, again, controlling the head, knee, snap. You have, I think it's called Escape from Death, where you knee plan back and slack out. So those are just different ways how to control the head and how to manipulate the neck. Also, the main focus here, obviously, the target would be the ribs, the lungs, the neck, and of course, the knee. But anyway, Leaping Crane, how much more in depth can you get? But if you have, oh, I don't have it with me. You can utilize it with the blade work, works really nice. But anyway, I don't have one here, so maybe next time. That's all I got for today. Thank you. Salute. Back to you, Mick.
You know what's funny is that I've known both Leaping Crane and Gift of Destruction since the 80s. Never put that correlation together. That's what's so awesome about the Roundtable. That's what's so awesome. I never put that. Now I'm going to go work that out with the guys and be like, oh, yeah, you know. Excellent stuff, as always. My partner, Sabara, Excellent, excellent as always. All right, well, if you like what you're seeing here and you'd like to see a little more or a lot more, you can always become a member of the Brotherhood for only $50 a year. You're going to get your membership packet with your ID card laminated in your patch and your welcome letter, but you're also going to get access to our members only page on Facebook. And that members only page on Facebook has 6,437,943 Kenpo videos on there. I just counted. That's how many it is. Wait, probably technically, legally, that's wrong. It's like 400, to be honest with you. But anyway, if you're interested, you can just go to brotherhoodkenpo.com, click on the Join Now button. All right, it'll take you over to PayPal. I'll get a notification. If you do it between now and the end of the show, I can get you on before the end of the show. You can start looking at all our other videos. I think I did the last one. I forget what it was about. What was the last one about? Oh, it was about... it was more on Cross of Destruction from last month's Roundtable. So, or Cross of, what's this called? Cross of Death? I forget what, oh no, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so, so if you're interested, you can go to brotherhoodkenpo.com and click on the join button. Also, we're done traveling for the year. We have a big schedule, the Brotherhood, for next year. And the first big event is going to be a huge one. Okay, so the weekend of March 19th, which was Ed Parker's birthday, the Brotherhood, we're going to be doing our 10th anniversary celebration. 10th anniversary celebration. So Sabor and I did the first one together, and since then it's grown into all this awesomeness, which just, makes me smile all the time. So that'll be the weekend of March 19th. And what we would like to do, depending on travel, you never know. You have the Omicron now. Maybe we'll have the Megatron there or something where people can't travel. But if they can travel, we'd like to get all the instructors from the Roundtable, all 10 of us together, and do something like that, because that would be awesome. And then we have some other things planned, like Confirmed. I just got off the phone an hour ago with Paul Dye. Confirmed Paul Dye is going to come out for it. So we're going to have a few extra special guests in there. I've never met Paul Dye. Well, I mean, I've seen him in person, but we've never spoken in person. I'm really looking forward to it. So Paul Dye is going to be here. And then afterwards, talking about Paul Dye, he's going to do a bit of an East Coast tour. That's what we were talking about. So if there's any school owners in the East Coast, say between Sabora and Maryland and say up in Boston, he's going to be touring up and down. So if anybody's interested in bringing him in, you can contact me or talk to him directly if you know him, but you can contact me and we can set that up. There'll be more information on that soon. Anyway, I believe that's it for the plugs. So let's move on to our next presenter. Our next presenter comes from Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. You all know him and love him. And last time I saw him, we were in South Beach having a blast. Mr. Mark Lawler.
Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Very nice to be with you once again. Want to shout out to Mr. Epperson. Hey, great meeting you at the Huck seminar, you and Bruce. And great to have you here today. Andy Seatherton. I know on Facebook, back and forth, like to meet you in person sometime. Great having you here. You guys all know my better half, and I mean that literally. There she is, the ceiling. Now, where are you, dear? All right. My wife, Gail. All right, so leaping crane. I'm going to go a little bit at this differently, because obviously we can all go through the sequence. We can talk about the technique, what it is and what it's for. I like to boil it down and say to you guys, really, to me, leaping crane is a Kenpoist way to take the back. Okay. What I mean by that is, if you wrestle or do jujitsu, MMA, it's always advantageous to get your opponent's back. Once you got their back, you can then throw them, trip them, choke, whatever it might be. Not that those arts and our art we can apply straight on, obviously, but this is an example of getting behind somebody and then working from there. So the difference between our art and, say, jujitsu, wrestling, judo, or I would say even law enforcement, is what we're doing to them afterwards. Okay. What I mean by that is simply, okay, if Gail, can you move over with me here, please? I might have to adjust the camera here. In jiu-jitsu, for example, I remember spending hours and hours and hours. Sit up for a left jab. Your opponent throws a punch like a jab, and then you're moving behind into a bear hug. And then from here, you're going to suplex them, or you're going to go into what's called a heel pick and roll them out. Okay. Something like law enforcement, okay, they might start, maybe it's not off of a punch, where they do a technique where they bump and they take the back, okay? They'll attack the legs if the person's taller to get them to drop their height level, so then they can, you know, apply the handcuffs or whatever it might be, or in a situation of a finishing hold like a choke. Pardon me, I don't have COVID, I promise. At least not that I know of. At least not Omicron. I don't know. Think of another Greek word, and maybe that's what I have. I don't know. So just jumping off of that for a second, I wanted to talk a little bit about what Mr. Parker called full course meal theory, okay? Which is basically full course meal. Those of you who don't know, you go to a restaurant, you start with a salad, you have a drink, or in my case, a couple drinks. We won't talk about that. Soup, salad, you have your main course, and then your dessert. Now, leaping crane, you know, we're attacking the ribs or the arm on here. And this is something that's, I won't say it's unique to our system, but, you know, it's worth examining the different philosophical ways people go at this. I mean, this is normally taught, you sit up for step 2, right? As a punch comes and we come off, we have the middle knuckle to the ribs, which works great as long as you can reach, okay? However, as other presenters have said already, that we also can attack the arm. So the arm can be punching into the funny bone and ripping through, like Mr. Miller said. This could be bicep, it could be tricep. Okay, myself personally, I don't know if any of you guys do it this way. I like to cock my knuckles like this. I know Huck teaches it like a knuckle punch, like we have in long 2. But I like coming up right off my side and ripping through that funny bone. Okay, so when I say full course meal, okay, I mean, this is your salad, this is your soup, this is your, you know, pre-dinner drink, and going into your entree, which is finishing them off with the elbow. So I've been a bit long-winded, but the other thing I just wanted to mention is, you know, when we get behind somebody in Kenpo, what are we doing? We're doing them in. We're striking vital targets of the human body, the kidney, the glancing lance, the eye, which is leaping crane on steroids, right? You're striking vital targets to finish the person off. You're not submitting them. You're not choking them. You're not cuffing them. Okay. Our philosophy is a you know, self-defense philosophy, which is different than a sport combative, which is to choke them or to, you know, win the match or subdue the person. So I'm over time, so I'm just going to cut it right there. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you very much, as always, to the Lawlers. Excellent, excellent, excellent stuff. All right, moving right along. We're going to send it on down to the most chill dude that I know. Somehow he's one of the most chill dudes I know, but he's full of energy. Monte!
Hello, greetings. I had to start it like that. Hey, greetings. Thank you so much. It's a great honor. I always say thank you to all the frontline workers for all the hard work. We have Laura. She's one of them. We have a lot more than one person probably online right now. Thank you. Thank you all. Police force. Everybody's making our life easier. With our technique today, it's one of the most beautiful techniques for me. It's very nice. You know, it's from the beginning of the art, you know, and then you study it over and over and you take the extension after so many years later. It's a very nice technique. So as the guys come in to us and we're leaping, I notice a lot of things can happen to the person as we do the sidekick and as we do the strikes, especially if the person has longer arms, shorter arms. So I agree with a lot of my brothers as far as you coming in, as you hop to 10 o'clock to sanctuary zone, you strike the bicep or you strike the ulnar. If you strike this area right here, and it will send a shock to their system and it will cancel their weapon for a little bit or create major pain because the ulnar nerve is right here. The ulnar ligament is right there. I strike that area a lot, especially if the guy's coming at me. So instead of open this way, I will go right directly to the ulnar to open the hand. In the same situation now, okay? Because I don't have that long reach as most guys that is going to be attacking me. So what I'll do is I will strike right into the ulnar area and immediately do the sidekick and land. Now, as you do this and you do the sidekick, I do the back fist or the slap, as I agree with my brother Angelo, okay? If you slap the back of the body, you will see you'll see the back, you know, and I will hit him before the knee hits the ground. If the knee hits the ground, if the knee hits the ground and I land, most likely they're gonna bounce and land forward. So it's gonna be tough for me to reach and do the sandwich. So what I'd like to do is I hit him in the back, okay, before I actually land. So it's gonna, I immediately hit him as they're landing, okay? So as I hit, and then from there, of course, we have the options. We can go over the top and strike. We go from the front and strike. But my brother, Manuel Gomez in La Paz, he said, let me show you something nice and easy. So as you strike, like this, he pulled the face. He pulled the face and direct the nose right there and let me have it, okay? Since then, I've been using that. So as you're coming in, 1, 2, 3, he pulled the face to let the strike, and I leave the strike there. As anytime I strike with 5 swords, I do sticky hands. As I strike, I leave it there and pull and hook and kick, land, side kick, and get rid of the body. So let's do it. So as you're coming in, 1, 2, 3, and as you pull, side kick and get rid of the body. One last time. Am I missing something? I talk to myself before I start, and now after I finish, I'll probably missing something. So yeah, if the body can, if you can do this to the body, that is beautiful. If you can do the hit right into the liver, that's beautiful. If you can, but if you can't, you go right into the bicep or the ulnar. You do the side kick, and as you land. Now, as you land, boom, then you switch, strike, hook, and land, kick, and get rid of them. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's a great honor. Everybody, please sign up with us. We had the best time in Miami. The best. Just hanging with everybody. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Hey, Monty, I love what you did there. Anybody who teaches knows that. You'll be in the middle of teaching something, and then you'll think, oh, I'm going to say that. And then you finish that thought, and then whatever you were thinking crossed your mind and kept going. Been there, my friend. Thank you very much, as always, Monty. All right, moving right along. We're going to send it up north of the border. Okay, he may not have the Delta variant, but we love the Delta London Armories Hotel. Every time we come and visit that guy, the King of Canada, Steve Stewart. Wait, that's not Steve.
I'm Sensei Steve, and I've been affected by.
Okay, now, and I'm back. Oh my God, I was affected by Omicron. I morphed back into me. I don't know how long it'll last, but we'll try to see what we can do. So what's the technique again? Right. Okay. Leaping crane. So I like what everybody had to say about leaping crane. Can I use you? So I'm just going to take a different take on leaping crane just to demonstrate a what if. So we all know it's for a punch, but nobody's going to step in and punch. You might already be there to punch right at you right away. And again, like Mr. Miller and Mr. Lawler and a few of the others were saying about going through the arm rather than the ribs. Obviously, I can't reach his ribs that way. But there's a point, an insertion point right in here that can weaken it, but it sets up for the whole arm. So as soon as I hit that, you can see the result. This is causing a weakness here, but it's also caused a weakness right in there. So the weakness in his hand is right there too as well. So coming this way, quickly moving this way. And as I said, I don't like to hit and then land and then hit because that's like constipated movement. So we'll do it on this angle here. Right there. So as he comes in, I move and I want to hit on that downward diagonal. See how the hips rotated? So when I land, I'm going to hit that which will hyperextend this. Now from that position, there are two insertion points right here, just below the earlobe and the base of the neck and other side. So I'm just going to give a hold of this one and just tap like that. You can see the result. It cancels the blood supply there. You can do the sandwiching thing the same way here and do that base, but the angle and direction is straight through on a horizontal line. Coming back again. Just turn around for a second. Right at the base of the popliteal fossa, in there, that point there in TCM medicine is a whole influential point for the hip and lower extremity, which means it can cause the hip to be released. So it's released here and then the knee as well. So if he's holding that steady like this, I can't move it. But if I just pop that, it's easy to rotate and take him down. So in saying that, if he had grabbed me in this position here, to try and do the same technique, I have to try and prefix the move. Prefixing the move might say, can you let go for a second? There you go. That's prefixing the move. All right. Or at the same time, I can hit the shin to prefix the move, but then I can go through hip, and then I can follow up with the move. The other thing I bring in, Jacob, you okay? The other thing you can do is if he grabs this way here and the punch comes in on the what if scenario, punching this way, this causes cross-extensive reflex action, which means this part of the brain works this side, that part of the brain works that side. So once it crosses, the brain has no idea where this went to or that went to. So I can pop that there and pop them right down that way there and slam them to the ground. So that's another way you can do it. Mr. Anderson, I don't know where Jacob went. All right. Another thing is on the push, we're talking about repeating maze or glancing salute and those other techniques. The only difference is between the grab push and the punch is the timing. So if he pushes it, you can do the same thing, rotate, but see how the angles change. So I want to change the angle of that. If I move, I want to hit the angle more that way that Angela was talking earlier that you learned from Mr. Pick. But the idea is to make sure that when you land, same time, I always use two-way action. I hit this way, but watch his head if I use two-way action. See how the head pops up? Perfect position for the slam. So those are the other things I wanted to pick up from was from the punch and the oncoming grab, the cross punch, the cross push, or just the punch itself. So before I morph again, I hope everybody's having a good day. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you very much to the King of Quarantine. Excellent as always. Excellent as always. All right, we're going to move right along. We're going to send it up to Dartmouth in 1 second, but I just want to say one thing. Now, I do not want to take away from the fact that Laura is a nurse because, we love nurses and I truly believe that, she's a hero for her calling. But I just a little bit feel like maybe it's kind of her responsibility being a nurse because when you know how to break people down, you got to learn how to put them back together again. What's up, Dartmouth?
All right. Thanks, Dan.
All right, so leaping crane. Yeah, I was kind of hoping we'd go near the end this week so that you guys could take all the cool stuff. But I think we got a couple of things with leaping crane. So first, the base technique, the way that I learned leaping crane, it looked exactly like everybody else was doing. And it's, 1, 2, 3. The big thing on this move with the beginners anyway is to make sure you're checking the correct shoulder, the left shoulder, because if you have this across like this, you can take a hit in the face from his left and then sandwich. So I will have one demonstrator. All right, so let's set it up. Brightman will attack. Move up a little bit this way. All right, cool. Bam. That's it. So one more time and then just pause on this. So go ahead. Leap. Now, yeah, this is what I was talking about here. This arm, if he swings it, she's got him checked with her shoulder. This has him checked. Ow, that almost broke my finger. And then she can go in for the sandwich. All right. So leaping crane. So Brightman, you can do a leaping crane on me. And here it is. And there it is, leaping crane. Now the extension. One question I always had in the extension, and Angelo actually brought it up, was the break. Is it here or is it here? And I've always done it both ways. Yeah. So I'll do the extension on break. We'll go this way. So here, pow, kick, land, sandwich. I'm going to come around, snap, chop, hook. Now there's a chicken kick in here. I'm not always a big fan of the chicken kick, but then it's a stomp on the Achilles, stiff leg, and then a back kick. So leaping crane, that's the way I learned the extension. I kind of like it. Brightman was actually, mentioned that he didn't like this stiff leg kick to the chin, and I accidentally hit him with it. And a week later, he was still complaining about it. So yeah, that's a nice little move. So I want to do something with some relationships, motion-wise. So why don't you guys bring it in? So, just a little note. I was never taught anything about, master key techniques and things like that from any instructors. Everything I know about it, I taught myself. So is it legit? Is it not? I couldn't tell you. You can think for yourself and, see if it has credence. So you're going to do leaping crane? No. Leaping crane versus circling the horizon. So 1, 2, 3. There it is again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So if you really look at that, you might notice that circling the horizon is actually leaping crane upside down. So one more time. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Back it up. So again, this is just from my analysis only. Take with it what you will, but if you want to find a route that travels through all these techniques, I would have to say it would probably be the technique deflecting hammer. So you have 1, 2, 3. Again, ready? 1, 2, 3. And then if you want, you can throw this one in there. 1, 2, 3. Or maybe this one. 1, 2, 3. And then if you really want to get out there, you can go 1, 2, 3. All right, you notice there is definitely some matches in the motion on those techniques. Now, what I wanted to do, one more thing with it is look at some application. One thing that I've started to do, after I learned all these techniques and as a black belt, is try to make them a little more applicable, okay? I always have an issue with the step-through punch. You never see it on the street. And if this is self-defense, you kind of want things to work in a practical application. So I know that, gathering clouds would be used for if he's got his left foot forward. Okay. But what if I wanted to do leaping crane? Okay. So Brayden's here, a quick hook kick. Bam. So we'll go from this angle. So I'm going to leap, bam, take the leg right there. So one more time, maybe we'll go, same angle. So here, take the leg, sandwich. And that works like a charm. We actually ran that with the adults, hook kicking bags first, and then hook kicking out the leg, and everybody got it to work. So if you want to try that out, it's a lot of fun. And I guess I'll leave it with that. So from Dartmouth, Massachusetts, we will send it back to you, Dan.
Thank you very much, Dartmouth crew. Now let's talk about what you said there for a second, because everything you did right there looks pretty legit to me, right? And you said, all right, so here's what I'm thinking about. I'm doing leaping crane, right? And then we're going to tie it into, now let's freeze there for a sec. How many times have you been talking to somebody in Kenpo and they're like, I don't know if this is legit or not, but this is how leaping crane and circling windmills are the same technique. And you're just like, hey, good stuff, good stuff. I mean, you did circling the horizon, man. That's straight up legit. I love it. I love it. And then all the extra, excellent as always. Excellent as always, Mr. Dartmouth, Mr. Donfro and the Dartmouth crew. Dartmouth, we love you guys. All right, that takes us to our guest presenters. Now, our very first presenter, let me pull back a page. Our very first presenter, as I said at the beginning, when we first started doing this, so we're sitting there with COVID, the original COVID, right? COVID-1. And we're like, let's do this roundtable. It's like, all right, if we're going to do a roundtable, we got to bring some quality people on the show. We got to bring some quality people on the show. So, right off the bat, immediately, one of the first names that popped in my head, Andy Seitherton, absolutely Andy Seitherton. And today he is back presenting for the second time. My good friend, all the way from across the pond in England, Mr. Andy Seitherton.
Hi guys. I hope everybody good. Leaping crane. Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So leaping crane. Well, leaping crane. I teach this as a type, what I call a sundial technique, okay, which I'll get onto in a moment. But I'll start with what I tend to watch with my beginners and my students when they start learning this technique for the first time is, first of all, is wasted motion or telegraphing. You see it a lot of the time when people go to do leaping crane. First thing they do is this. They step and the hands do this. So wasted motion, as you know, it's motion without meaning or purpose. So doing this is obviously telegraphing to your opponent something's going to happen. You're opening yourself up because you're unguarded. So what I get them to do is straight away is to move from the point of origin here with their strike, okay, just this manner, and this way with the parry. So they're coming from the hip straight away. So it's more of a hugging. That's not to say this action isn't got value. Because I mean, if I was leaning against a wall and somebody threw a punch, I've got to move from the wall, from the point of origin here. And that is that movement. But that's got purpose because I'm leaning on my hand. So it doesn't actually qualify as wasted motion. Everybody's saying really good things about the strike, very different things. I tend to use a single knuckle strike if I see somebody's dressed thinly. If it's more of a heavy coat, I tend to just go in the hook. But sometimes I break my movements down so that I'm actually landing in almost into a forward bow, but traveling as I'm hitting with that first strike. And I imagine that I've got a string tied to my big toe and it's in my fist. So as my fist hits, then my knee comes up and then I strike to the target. Talking on the knee, this is another thing I found when some people do it, because if you think of the travel of somebody who's attacking you, I mean, when we do it, okay, whether it's you do it as a cross or whether you do it as a step through or as a shuffle when you're moving forward, we tend to know the distance that our opponent or our partner is likely to travel. But if somebody's going to hit you, they're not going to be worrying about stopping a certain distance away from you. They want to be going straight through you. So their body mass is going to keep going towards you. So what I tend to find is when people move, they go here. If this knee is pointing at 12 o'clock, it shadows the target for their vision. So it actually obstructs the backs of the leg. This is what is, I would say in Kenpo, you're breaking one of the rules of thumb. You're getting in your own way, maybe not physically, but visually. Okay. So what I get my guys to do is when they move is I get them to turn. So the knee is pointing to the spine. They can then find the target of the lead knee, or if they want to, they can go for the back knee. It's up to them then. Obviously, we've got our set knees we go for. So that's some of the little things I find people do to begin with, which is stuff you can tighten people up on their basics. Now, talking about it as being a sundial technique, some people have covered the techniques that are related to it. But one of the lessons this technique teaches you, it teaches you to strike from long range. Okay, so I teach this technique in its base form when I'm giving somebody the basic knowledge of this technique, not adapting my feelings towards it or what I see somebody else being able to do. So I move out to 9 o'clock, come up here, moving towards the target, and then I can use a long range weapon to hit the back of the knee, because if I tried to hit the body with my fist, I'm going to be out of range because I've moved out of contact for the hand, but not out of contact for the foot. So now if we work up 1 degree on that sundial, we go from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. That brings us into gathering clouds. As we said, the other instructor said, it's the same technique, okay? But we're stepping to 10 o'clock away from 9 o'clock. So then if you've got the sundial one more movement, we then go to 11 o'clock, then we come into flashing wings, okay? So flashing wings is no more than this hook that either hits the target or misses and comes through to the elbow, and then you come back with the elbow into the back, which would be equivalent of the blade kick. So in gathering clouds, we've got the rake here, then the hand sword there, which is the medium range. And then we come in here, 1, 2, with the back elbow, and then we've got the inward elbow and the back elbow, then we're into close range. So we've gone close, medium, long. So that's working up the sundial, but we can also work back down the sundial. We can go from 9 o'clock and we can step back to 8 o'clock, and then we're into the technique hugging pendulum. Okay, well, that one there is basically, as we've said, or somebody said already, I think it was a Mark, I think it said, from here, we're moving in this time and we're going high, okay? Whereas with leaping crane, we parry and we go mid-zone with this raking knuckle. But here, we move back, we do our downward block, we front crossover and we come up high, then blade kick and then hammer fist. And then if we go back down the sundial one more time to 7 o'clock, we then come into retreating pendulum. And then retreating pendulum, we do the kick, and this time we come down with a hammer fist vertically, opposed to coming in horizontally. So that's the sundial working down this way. But then, of course, we can also jump to this side and be on this side of the technique when somebody does a straight push, and we do like repeating mace. Now, in leaping crane, we're doing an inward parry as we step to the left. In repeating mace, we're doing outward parry as we step behind ourselves with our left foot, but to the right. After that, in leaping crane, we've got the rake, because the knee comes up. In repeating mace, we move here, we've got the rake, but this time, instead of going against the body, it's traveling with the direction of the body. And then, obviously, in leaping crane, we've got the blade kick, then the hammer fist. In repeating mace, we come back, we rake with the direction, then come back with a hammer fist, which is equivalent to this movement. And then with the kick, we come down with a roundhouse kick on the back of the leg, which is the opposite side, okay, using the front leg. But instead of kicking sidewards, we're kicking around and down, but still bringing the person down onto one leg. That's some of the things I teach my guys. One of the things I did notice is that I loved Angelo's take on the cane, and Sabora mentioning doing leaping crane with a blade. Now, in England, carrying a blade's illegal, carrying a gun's illegal, so we're sort of like disarmed by our government. We could get away with a cane, but that's still sort of like touchy ground with some police officers. So my favorite weapon I carry with me is a Sharpie. And I use this one to teach quite a lot of techniques for my guys, because this is a weapon we can carry quite happily because it's just a pen. So we can this one into leaping crane. As we move with a parry, we come in with the front hand of the Sharpie into the ribs as we come through. We hit our blade kick, and then we land and we go straight into the kidneys with the butt end of the Sharpie here, into our elbow sandwich, and then we slam the Sharpie into the side of the throat, come round the head this way, pull the head to the side and onto the neck so the chin is pushing away from us, and then we come straight down into the sternal notch or into the clavicle before we go on to the extension. And the extension as well, one of the things I was taught by one of my instructors called Gary Ellis from Plymouth, is when you're doing the extension, okay, you've taken the hand down, hand sword, you've done your scoop and your front kick to the back here, but that's going to cause the guy to go forward. So he's on his knees, you've kicked him and he's gone this manner, okay, onto his front, and he's going to protect himself. After you've done that, then you come down onto the hamstring, or the heel, sorry, with the foot. You take your step forward, and because, like anything, he wants, if he's still culpable, he'll want to know where I am, okay? So he's going to look to see where I am. as he looks to see where I am, I've moved to this position, straight leg lift right under the chin, and then they turn, back kick straight into the hip joint, and we cover out from there. Okay, well, that's my kit on leaping crane. I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and I'll pass you on back to Dan.
Andy, I enjoyed that very much, and I have to say that your moves are very, very sharpy. I had to do it. Sorry. I'm a dad jokes. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Andy Seatherton. All right. That brings us to our final presenter. All right. So now, this is what I love about Kenpo. This is what I absolutely love about Kenpo, is if it weren't for the fact that we speak the same language, if it wasn't for the fact that we said things like snapping twigs and thundering hammers and prance of the tiger, there would be no opportunity for me to get to meet a guy like Chuck Epperson. But because we speak that language, now I have a new friend. How cool is that? How cool is that? So, along with his brother, Mr. Bruce, I'd like to throw it out to California and Chuck Epperson.
There we go. I'm good. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Dan. Appreciate you guys. I like everything I'm seeing. Leaping crane is definitely one of my favorite techniques, too. Something I would definitely use in the street, what we call meat techniques. A master key technique, which is a technique that works against many different attacks and situations with little or no change at all to the technique. So it's one of the first things I like to teach people. Other things to just touch on is Kenpo and the katas. The techniques introduce you to everything. And one of the first things I liked about it, which I started to learn in Filipino arts in the 80s from Huck, is when this punch comes in, this scissoring motion. This is the first technique in Kenpo where you utilize that. Working inside and out for category completion on body positions. Just something to look at. There's 4 ways you like to play with it. Is you have the right punch coming through the right leg, the basic one, then you switch it left to left, and then crossed up, left foot forward, right foot, and then switch it, right foot forward, left. And those are all the same. If you do it this way or left foot forward, you work the center line, the front. You still get this gunting, but it's on the outside against the joint, so you get your snapping twig, and you kick to the ground, and you're in the front here. So 4 ways, a possible way against a punch, but like I said, leaping crane is a master key technique, and it's all through the system and all the different body positions and all the ranges. It's also what's called the crane family. There's a bunch, but the main 3 you related to is some of I've already touched on this, is leaping crane, gathering clouds, and circling the horizon, which introduces the orbital switches. So some things I wanted to talk about is when you come in, other principles you're learning is how you take your feet and bring his hand and head back into hand range, just like the very beginning techniques of delayed sword, sword of destruction, thrusting salute. Principle is use your foot to bring their face back into hand range. So some things I wanted to kind of just touch on for relationships. Also, other things which is in your basics and exercise forms, your technique list of the katas, is what are called double loads. You have your single loads and double loads. So leaping crane is your double loads. And you do that for compounds, hand and foot. Foot puts the hand in, hand puts the foot in. Also, like Prance of the Tiger is basically leaping crane from the front, but you do it as a dual because you have the proper alignment for the weapons and the targets. Leaping crane is separate because when you come in, you don't have the alignment. So the foot, people talk about this, this gives me the center line from behind to get this reaction to bring his head back in for one of the main principles you always shoot for, which is borrowed reach and borrowed force, bringing him onto the strike. The same we have is that you always get borrowed reach with borrowed force, but you don't always get borrowed force with borrowed reach. That's based on timing. Everything's based on that. How that timing is the biggest, most important basic, because if you're not on time, you really don't get anything. You don't get any of your power principles. You're either early or late. So some couple things I wanted to touch on there just for relationships. Also, another thing I want to touch on is all your different types of techniques. This is what in Kenpo is called. There's a lot of different types. This is a free fighting technique where we're relying on strikes to put people in position but we mainly do more contact manipulation techniques where we maneuver you into our strikes. You have more margin for error. You're keeping the guy checked because we're a checking system, which is one thing I tell people all the time about. Check it out and research all the karate arts in the world, and we're one of the only ones that covers and checks because it's not karate, it's based on Filipino arts, just like the gunki and the scissoring. So anyway, I've probably gone over time. I wanted to try and just touch on a few different things. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. It's an honor and a pleasure to meet all you. Now, some of 4 of you I met in Maryland with Huck, a great group of people. We really enjoy your enthusiasm, your attitude. You know, you love the same art we love, and you're our brothers and sisters, and much love and respect to all of you, and health and happiness in the holidays. My brother Bruce, my oldest training partner, he's been with me since '79, and we're still training together, so I think that's pretty special. So much love and respect to you guys. Thank you, Bruce. Back to you, Dan. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I really appreciate it. And I'm just going to say this real quick because you guys have like the coolest name for Kenpo. You know, like it's got to sound cool. Like, man, where did you learn how to swing that stick and use those blades? And the Epperson brothers. This sounds cool. But anyway, thank you very much, Chuck and Bruce. Great to see you. All right, that brings us to the final segment of our show called Roundtable, right? Called Pass the Mic. This is where each instructor is going to take, 30 seconds just to kind of share a final thought, and I had a couple thoughts that I wanted to share, but Angelo, and then Mark, and then Chuck, we're all wearing the exact same pants with the stripe down the side with the one cargo pocket. And the only thing I kept thinking is, man, I remember the first fancy pair of gi pants I ever owned. Like I can remember walking in with, I got it just like all my clothes back then. It was hand-me-down. Some other dude that outgrew his gi pants. They threw, here, Danny, you take them. But man, I remember walking into class with those stripes on my pants feeling so. Just think about it. You remember the first cool gi you had? How awesome that felt. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Now we're going to throw it over to Michael Miller.
Rock on. Great show, guys. Everybody did amazing, as always. This was awesome. I want to thank our special guests, Andy Seitherton and Chuck and Bruce Epperson. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys. You guys were awesome. I haven't met any of you yet, but I'm sure that'll happen at some point. And then the last thing I just want to say is I hope to see you guys at Sabora's place in March, the weekend of the 19th. I will definitely be there, and I hope to see you guys. Get ready to rock on with you cats. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. Let's throw it over to Angelo.
Hey guys, great Saturday, good stuff today. I just want to thank the Epperson brothers. You guys are awesome. Love you guys. Hopefully we'll see you in March. And also Andy, awesome. Thanks. You're always thinking, brother. Loved it. So thank you guys for the support for the Brotherhood. To everybody else, Dan Meck, I got some new pants. I got a bunch of these actually. So let me know if you want a pair. So anyway, we'll see you guys later. Hope to see you guys March, and take care of yourself. And Dan Donfro, I stole your hook kick, brother. Awesome work. See you guys later.
Thank you very much, Angelo. I sincerely doubt you have pants in my length and width. Thank you, Angelo. We're going to move it over to, wait a minute. We're going to move it over to Mark Lawler.
Hey. Yeah, great stuff today, guys. Really enjoyed Chuck and Bruce and Andy. Great presentations. Angelo, I see you have Dally in the back seat paying attention, monitoring. Gail and I were just noticing her watching the proceedings. And the whole thing with the gi pants, yeah, that used to be a thing back in the 70s, in the early 80s. You got stuff, you would hand stuff down to your students, and it was like a really big deal, You got a pair of gi pants from, one of your seniors. That was a major deal. It's one of those things that needs to kind of come back. I think people are all afraid of diseases too much these days. I don't know. Anyway, great day again, and salute from Gail and I. Gail, you want to put your head in the frame here? And talk to you soon. Back to you, Dan.
Hey, Mark, my first fancy gi was a hand-me-down gi from a guy named Chris Getz, and it was a Tokido, not Takedo, Tokido. I thought I had a Takedo.
I remember Chris Getz. He punched me after I was fighting him in a tournament. The judge called stop. I turned away and he punched me in the head.
Well, he might be watching these. He's on Facebook, so maybe you guys can talk about that one.
We had several matches. Chris is a very good fighter. I don't think he meant to do it. It was one of them things where you're just going. It's my damn fault for dropping my hands and turning away, actually. But
yeah,
thought I'd mention that.
That's a valuable lesson. When the judge says stop, don't stop until the other guy says stop. Until the other guy stops.
No.
Anyway, Mark, you and I will keep going for 45 minutes. Thank you very much to the Lawler family. Let's start over to Monty.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I always talk about Napoleon Hill and his Think and Grow Rich book, Mastermind Alliance. And that's what we are. We are the Mastermind Alliance of Kenpo. We bring all these brains, unbelievable. Mr. The Epperson brothers, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So much knowledge there. You can see the depth. Mr. Seatherton, always. I really appreciate everything you can give us. Thank you to all the frontline workers, and I appreciate it. Join the Brotherhood, guys. It is the best investment you could ever get into. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monty. We're going to throw it over to Steve Stewart.
Great presentation today by everybody, especially the two presenters who I don't know, but I was very impressed. And as always, with the other Brotherhood members, I can't wait to get together with you guys and jam. Mike, Mark, that's at the nightclub, but also get on the mat. But I got a call, Dan, the other day from Solid Gold, and they said this was your name on the back. Anyway, I picked it up. Those name, and Candy said to call her. Anyway, that's all I have to say. It's great seeing you guys. Stay safe.
I know nothing. I see. You got me. I don't even know who's next. Wait, hold on. All right, here we go. We're going to throw it up to Don.
All right, thanks, Dan. Awesome presentations today, Mr. Seatherton, Eppersons. I mean, what more could you ask for? Great stuff. I learned more about Leaping Crane today than I think forever. But, I also got a call from Solid Gold. Anyway, I want to wish everybody happy holidays. This was a great time, and don't see each other. Happy New Year, and thanks to my Ukis and everybody else for making this a great year.
Thank you very much. We're going to throw it back across the pond to Andy.
Hi guys, yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I learned so much from everybody. Everybody's got such a vast amount of knowledge, and it all comes from different aspects. Superb. Mr. Epperson, I thoroughly enjoyed what you show there. Everybody else, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. I'd just say that when you talk about your first fancy gi, my first fancy gi was my first gi, because I started in judo and all we had was plain white gis. I came and saw my first lesson at Kenpo and I didn't know anything about it. All I knew was it's black suit and big badges, and that was it. I was in. Doesn't matter about anything else. And I gave that first gi to one of my closest friends. That went down to him. And so I bought myself a brilliant, beautiful black one. Superb, super black, because this one had got a bit grey in time. First roundhouse kick with this super gi, I split the crutch from leg to leg. So I had to go and buy myself another one. But thank you everybody for sharing. Thoroughly enjoyed it. As ever, the Brotherhood's a fantastic group, a fantastic gathering, and there's no egos in this group whatsoever. Thank you, gentlemen. And ladies as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Andy, who one of the original members of the Brotherhood, my man. Thank you very much, Andy. All right, let's throw it out to California. Chuck Epperson.
Hey guys, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Feel like got a bunch of new friends now, brothers and sisters of Kenpo. Really appreciate you guys involving us. This is a wonderful platform. Really enjoyed everybody's takes on leaping crane. That's one thing I love about Kenpo is putting our minds together and sharing. That's what it's all about. Master Park used to talk about a lot in the 70s when I first started up, and that's one thing I really enjoy about this. And if it's okay, they were going to let me do a quick little plug on a website that I just came out with Chuck Epperson's Kenpo Kali, something a bunch of arts I've been blending for 40 years. And if you'd like to check it out, it'd be great. And as always, please be honest. Comment on it. Tell me what you think of it. Any comments are great. I'll take them any way you want to give them to me. And check it out and tell me what you think about it. Anyway, the main thing is, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Much love and respect to all of you. Happy holidays. Like I say, I feel like I created some new friends. It's special. Thanks.
All right, Chuck, I'm going to throw myself in here for a second. I just want to say this to you. I've been in the Filipino martial arts for as long as I've been doing Kenpo. The studio where I started was the United States headquarters for the International Modern Arnis Federation, and we were at the time at Tracy's school. All that, and as a matter of fact, on this roundtable today is one of my friends, Lyman Pryor, who 8 years ago right now, we were training together in the Philippines. That was my second trip to the Philippines. I know Filipino martial arts. You want to see some good stuff, check out Chuck Epperson's Kenpo Kali. I've been watching them. I'm a subscription to that page. Absolutely highly recommend it. Thank you very much to Chuck and Bruce Epperson. And finally, we're going to throw it down to Sabora.
Hey, guys. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Andy, Chuck, Bruce, awesome to see you guys. Great presentation. I continue to learn with each and every one of you every month, every time we do this. So this is our last one for this year. Then we'll pick it up again in January. Look forward to seeing you guys in March. We will be up or out in California to see Bruce and the crew over there. And then the second weekend of March will be over here in Baltimore. So save the dates, and hopefully we'll see you guys here. We're going to have a great lineup of instructors, which we're narrowing it down right now. We are hoping to also incorporate a tournament into the event as well. If it doesn't happen this time around, definitely the following year as far as the tournament go. But anyway, guys, once again, thank you so much, and have a great holidays, and we'll see you on our next show. But I'm sure I'll see a lot of you guys on Facebook or in person here and there. So thanks again. Salute.
All right, thank you very much, everybody. Hey, listen, Sabora, let me tell you. Hey, the show's over. Way, thank you. But anyway, so check this out. Last year on Christmas Eve, we did a Zoom, right? We did an impromptu Zoom. Look, we haven't even talked about this, and it's December 4th, but I'm in. If anybody wants to, last year we were doing memories of Frank Trejo because it was Frank Trejo's birthday. So this year we could get together and just do Kenpo store or whatever. Let's get together and do a Christmas Zoom just to chat. All right.
That would be awesome. Yes.
All right, cool. We'll talk about that. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you soon.